Jaros for Tom speaking to NOLA.com with Josh Stansell over at Parkview Baptist. Interesting year for you, to say the least, to go from breaking your arm and wondering if you'll ever be able to play football again to now last week signing with Henderson State to not only finish up what ended up being a productive high school senior season, but now have an opportunity to go play some college football. We just talked about it for a decent amount of time because obviously a lot to say about the whole process, but what has it been like, as best as you can kind of like encapsulate from where you were to now being here? What's it been like for you?
If I could describe it in one word, I'd probably say it's a roller coaster. A lot of up and down. Up coming into the season. They got me starting both ways. Senior year, we got a good team. We got a lot of young guys, but we know our young guys can play. Obviously up down. With the arm breaking on August 11th. So that, obviously that's a down point. And the doctor tells me 16 weeks. At that point, I'm not ever playing football again, much less college football. I get out of surgery and the doctor says 8 weeks. That's a up. And then I get into physical therapy and I'm not progressing much at first. And the arm's not flexing, it's not extending. So obviously you can't play, you can't move your arm. And then I start doing physical therapy with Coach Miller. Next thing you know, it's advancing 30 degrees, 40 degrees at a time. And so that's an up. And then, so I find out I've progressed enough to be able to play, and I call my doctor, and he says, I'm not going to clear you for contact because you haven't doing physical therapy with us. So, I'm thinking, I go through all this, I get back to the point where I'm supposed to be, and you're going to tell me you're not going to clear me. So then we talked to Coach Maya and actually set me up with a team doctor, and he cleared me, and I came out for that practice that Monday, Don Joy elbow brace like J.J. Watt and everything ready to go, and just spoke to the team before the practice about, playing football is not a right, it's a privilege. God can take it away from you at any point. You're healthy because God allows you to do every day. He wakes you up every morning. So there's nothing really that's earned from that. So first game was versus Kip, senior homecoming night, so it's good to be able to come back for that. At one point it was said that I wouldn't be able to come back to the playoffs or maybe even the state championship. We would have had to make it there in the first place. So I came back that game, didn't really have much success because I was actually kind of running with one arm. But, the next week versus Baker, we came out and played well as a team. I think I had 4 or 5 tackles and 2 interceptions at Rover. Our free safety, Trent Cavanaugh, had an interception. The D-line is everywhere. BJ Gaines had a few forced fumbles. I think we were up 37.5. So not only was that a big game for me, but as a team as far as our young defense, because we had 2 returning starters on defense. Have those other 9 guys be playing well. Starters shut them out until we put the backups in, so that was really good, After that, as far as me and the arm, the success was pretty good. And, as far as the team, what a group of guys. With losing 2 linemen, one who's no longer at the school anymore, and one who went to play baseball. We had both been starting since sophomore year. One of them was All-State. We had a few guys that had to step up, and like I said, I think 4 or 5 combined starters with offense on defense. And, there was a lot that left in that last year's class, and everybody knew that. So the young guys showed a lot of resiliency and came back, and we played really well over the season. And, I'm just real proud of the team, the group of guys. I couldn't have done it without them. Couldn't have done it without, of course, God's blessings. My dad stayed at the hospital with me over every night, and, these coaches, because, I thought people really just used to say it, but I do firmly believe this is the best coaching staff in the state.
The opportunity now to go to Henderson, you go from sitting there wondering if you ever play football again. You end up being an all-district player. Y'all get to the state championship and really kind of had you high on its heels there for a while. You said playing college football though had always been a lifelong dream, and that in itself was a lot of work. You had to do a lot in terms of sending out your film, making sure folks knew who you were and whatnot. After all of those things, to sit there and look at, okay, this is some scholarship money coming my way and all that, and this is a realistic thing. I'm about to go play some college football. How much does that opportunity now mean, just given how much you went through to get to there?
It means the world. It honestly leaves me speechless. I could put one word or one phrase or one adjective to really describe it. When you put everything in perspective of, like you said, wondering, going ahead and just assuming that I'm not going to play football ever again, and ask my dad, what am I going to do now? I don't play football. What am I going to do every day? Am I going to go home right when school ends because I can't play anymore? To, sitting there in Coach Maxfield's office in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and Henderson State, and, him saying, what do you think? And I just said, yes, sir, I'm ready. It's a small town, but they love their football. It's good football. They were ranked number 4 Division II in America last year, and they really wanted me. And you know, I'd always told my dad, you know, I don't care what level of football it is. Somebody that wants me, I'm gonna go, and you know, I'm just gonna make that coach proud, just like Coach Maya said. You know, I'm gonna play for him the same way. I'm gonna give it all I got in the weight room, conditioning on the field. You know, they're gonna get the same type of player Coach Maya got. So, you know, it's just a blessing. There's not much else to say because there's no way I'd be in the situation without God.
You said some of those guys just need to work on their Madden game before you get up there full time, though.
Yeah, actually went back to the quarterback's house after dinner. Blake Reeve, he had a couple roommates there, and I remember he had been saying, you know, Madden's my game, because I played the safety in FIFA and he destroyed me, and I was like, all right, well, Madden was my game anyway. So I got back, and he got the Seahawks, and I was like, all right, well, he's that guy. So I went ahead, and chose the Packers, and I blew him out of the water. And then so his roommate, who's actually a baseball player, he said he was the better one anyway. So I was like, all right, you know, I have a good game now. And I chose the Packers again, and he chose the Browns, which is actually my favorite team. So he said he was going to use Johnny Manziel on me. So I was like, all right, well, I don't want to have to do it to you, Johnny, but I'm going to have to. And I think the second throw of the game actually tore Manziel's like ACL, so he was out for the game. So I ended up scoring like 100 points. So I was like, you guys really need to work on your Madden game. And then, you know, he brought me back to the hotel. You know, I just kind of went to sleep.
Obviously, you enjoyed your time hanging out with some of those guys that are already there and some of the guys coming in. You said you were just blown away by really everything that you saw up there. That will now be your new home for the next couple years. What else did you really enjoy about Henderson State when you went up there?
The campus. You know, I told my dad, I said, you know, Dad, obviously it's college visit, my first one, maybe my only one. I feel like I'm going to be blown away by everything no matter what. But, I mean, we show up, you know, everything's state-of-the-art. They have a new, you know, 3-story rec center where they have volleyball courts, a track on the 3rd story, indoor soccer court, you know, 4 basketball courts in there. And, you know, the cafeteria is huge. I mean, there's like 7, like, Golden Corral, you got different food stations. They have like, you know, 9 or 10 of those. And, you know, you walk, as a scholarship player, I can now, you know, just walk in and show my card, and I can eat from any of them as much as I want and leave. And then the people were just real genuine. There's like your typical small town people that you'd see on like a movie or TV show like Friday Night Lights. You know, the football players are like pretty well known around there because there's not that many people. And so, I mean, everybody's just real nice, and I just got a real good feeling about being there. And you know, one of the things my dad said, you know, because I got out after I committed, I got out and just kind of went and walked on that field with him. He said, you know, can you see yourself living here for the next 4 years and playing football? And I just said yes, sir, without a doubt, because I mean, I felt very at home there.
There you go. Josh Stansell over at Parkview Baptist, heading to Henderson State now. For the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, Jared Rosen.